Today I'll be discussing the Motorola Mototrbo R7. Stick around. Hey, Steve here, K4SRF. Recently I had delivered a Mototrbo R7. I've been wanting to get back into the Motorola line. Back in my law enforcement and EMS days, I used to use these radios all the time, found them very reliable. But the only thing that kept me from them, purchasing them in the private sector, that is, was the fact that Motorola was charging like $300 for their software. Well, over the last couple of years, something has changed at Motorola. They changed their policy. So if you're an individual purchaser, such as myself, you don't have to pay for the software. You can still buy certain, what is known as entitlements, add-ons to the software, and they can run a few dollars, 35 to 100, something like that, depending on what you need. But the software itself, the CPS programming, the customer programming software itself, is at no charge, and you can download it directly from their site. Now, the radios are a bit more expensive than your average ham radio. They're up there in price. This one right here retails at about up just a ballpark figure, about $1,500 to $1,700. I got mine at a discount, depending on what features I needed on it. And also, this radio may not be right for the average ham user because unless you have got a certain frequency band, such as UHF or VHF, that you want to primarily use, these radios right here, the R7s, they come mainly in monoband. This is a UHF version. There's a VHF version, also one that goes 700, 800. They don't do P25, however, but they are digital. You can do DMR on these, and since I have several DMR channels that I do connect to and use regularly, I decided I'd go ahead and give this radio a shot. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features on this radio. Okay, here's a radio, a close-up of the radio itself. It's got a 2¼ inch screen on the front, full keypad operation here. Obviously, you have your UHF antenna. I've got one of the UHF stubby antennas on here, which, by the way, works fairly well in this area. I can actually reach a UHF repeater. It's about 26 miles away with no problem outdoors. Obviously, indoors I can reach them, but I'm a little broken, but it's 26 away with a small stubby. Now, you can also get, and I purchased one of these also. Bear with me, I gotta find it. I have also purchased a whip antenna, so to speak, to go along to complement this antenna itself. And it is obviously a little bit taller than the stubby that came with the radio itself. You can order either one of these antennas with the radio when you purchase it. I chose this unit right here over here, but decided to go ahead and purchase a whip antenna anyway, just to be on the safe side. And you can also use third-party antennas like Nagoya or Diamond or Comet on here as well. It does have the it's a SFM or SFM. I can't speak today. SMA male, that is, connector down here. It's the female right here. It goes into this. Now, anyway, let's get back to the radio. That's your antenna right here. Going from the top, you have your emergency button, which you can reprogram. You have your dial selector right here. A dial selector is not set for just one area and stops. It's completely 360 degree rotatable. Got your power and your volume button here. On this side, you have your cable connector. You just have to take this off. And there is for your auxiliary microphone, if you get a microphone, or your programming cable, which I've got that guy right over here. And programming cable, put you aside a second, comes with the standard USB on one end and Motorola's proprietary connector right here, which basically just pops into place like that, and you screw it in, And once you've got your software loaded down onto your computer, which I'll take a look at that as well, you just plug this end into your USB, turn your radio on, let it connect, and do your magic with the CPS. It's not that difficult. Motorola's got a few different terminology changes if you're used to programming radios. They've got some terminology changes, but you just have to make yourself used to those and find out that programming this radio is just as easy as programming any other radio, such as Yaesu, ICOM, or Kenwood, or anything like that. Now, that is on this side here. On this side, you have your 1, 2, and 3 programmable buttons here. Your PTT, push to talk, right here. The battery, you got a belt clip that comes on here that will slide onto the battery itself. Battery is an Impress battery. Now, you're probably asking, what's an Impress battery? Well, basically, the Impress battery and the charger itself communicate with each other. The battery will detect the voltage, the heat of the battery itself. It's got a circuitry in it also that can analyze and benefit with battery management if, of course, you use the Impress battery and an Impress charger itself. Now, if you want some more information about this, you can go ahead and go to the Motorola site to get a full description of how and what the Impress batteries do itself. Now, let's go ahead and crank this guy up. It does take a couple of seconds for it to come to life. All right. The screen itself is a 2 1/4 inch to about 2 1/4, something like that. Very bright screen. It does have power saver mode, so it will go into a night mode, and all you have to do is just press any button and it'll come up. Now, you can go ahead, once you get in your the CPS, the software actually loaded onto the radio itself, you can go into different modes like your zones. You hear all the different zones here. And then this is your home button right here. So you have P1 will go into the zones naturally. Right here, the OK is also the menu button. Go into that, and you go into your menu here, your icon menu, which you've got your contacts, your zone. Yes, scroll this over. There's zones. You have this your zone right here. I'm sorry. I take that back. This right here is your scan. If you have channel set up for scanning, you can go into that scan. Your zones. You can go down to it's your Bluetooth settings, your utilities, go into your notifications, and down to your service and support. And if you click service and support, to get to any one of these menus here, you just get to highlight the icon, press OK. It takes you right into it. This will give you information such as support, radio, and battery information. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's just your menu right there, your icon menu. To get it home, just click home. That'll take you right back a couple of times here. Take you right back to the main screen. Now, another thing Motorola touts about this radio is its automatic noise suppression. So if you're in a loud environment and you need to be heard, the microphone itself is right up here. And if you wondered about this on the back, that little spot right there is an additional microphone. That picks up the background noise, and it'll suppress the exterior noise and focus in on your voice, so you can be heard over very loud situations. Now, you're also probably wondering where the microphone's at. Microphones are actually, the microphone itself is embedded under the keys itself. It's you can see them in between the cracks. It's very clear, very loud. And sometimes I even, in fact, have to turn it down. It can be loud without being distorted also. That's another benefit about Motorola, is their audio quality is really not been equal. There's many radios out there very good and very close to it, but Motorola seems to have had so many years of experience with their audio that they've not really been surpassed yet. Okay, that's just a brief overview, quick look at the radio itself. So let's go ahead and go to the website, and I'll show you some of the specs that they show for this radio on the website as well. Then I'm going to take you up and give you a brief look at the CPS, the programming software. Okay, here we are on the Motorola Solutions website, and if you get to their main page, their initial page, just go up into the search bar and type in R7, and once submitted, it'll pull up this whole slew of information on the R7 itself, including videos, demonstrations, everything that you might want to watch to learn even more about the R7 radio itself. Basically, this is where I went to before I purchased a radio to get some more information on it. Like I said, you can get this in either VHF, UHF, or 800, 700, 800 megahertz, but since most of my communications is in the UHF range, in the 460 range, I went ahead and got the UHF version. They do make, Motorola does make a dual band radio, tri-band actually. It's UHF, VHF. Also, if you want to get technical, 4-band, it's a P25 and it goes into 700, 800 megahertz. It's in the APX series radios. I was looking at an APX 6000 XE. I don't have a price on it right now, but it's coming in somewhere roughly. This is the top of my head. I don't quote me on this. It's top of my head. It's about a $4,000 radio. So if you're going to spend that much money on a radio that does everything, it's well worth it. But if you got that kind of money, I don't have that kind of money right now. So I'm just going to have to hold off on that and maybe put some money aside and eventually one day get that thing. But anyway, getting back to the website here, you can go to all these different videos you could watch. They're interesting. They're worth watching and everything. And also, you can download the CPS from this website as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that CPS programming software, and then I'm going to wrap up this video. Okay, this is a look at the Motorola CPS 2.0, the latest version of their CPS software. Now, a lot of their radios run off the basic software. You can do the program off the basic software, and what it does is when you initialize, which is one thing I forgot to tell you about this radio here, you have to initialize it. You can't just get it out of the box and program it. You have to actually initialize it, which means connecting it to a Wi-Fi connection. They give you the instructions of how to do it. You create your own SSID and your own password. Once the radio is turned on, detects that Wi-Fi signal. It goes out to Motorola's servers, and it detects what serial number is, what radio it is, and it also updates any firmware, and then downloads the initial empty code plug. And once that code plug is loaded, you're ready to go. So going back to the software here, you can see a lot of these boxes are grayed out right here, and that's mainly because the radio is not attached to this this software, to the computer itself. So let me go ahead and connect it, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's fully operational. Okay, if you look into the small window here, you see I've hooked up the radio itself. I've got the programming cable attached to the radio, and it's attached to my USB, one of my USB ports in the computer itself. So what we're going to first do is go to, if we don't have an existing, as Motorola puts an archive file, some people call something else, but they call their code plug files archive files. So if you don't have an existing archive file here, let's say it's the initial reading, you go up to the top here, and where it says read from radio, right here, click read. You'll see it's down here, it's reading. Okay, a little splash screen here comes up. I always leave these screens up here just to verify that the function actually worked. Okay, now you can close that out if you want and have it blocked so it doesn't open up anymore. That's up to you. So now you see all the bars here are green. Basically, you have your open bar where you can open different files. All right, we have your save, and I just closed that one out by accident. I can't believe I did that. So we just go back and read again. I closed it out by accident. So wait a second. I didn't save it after I'd opened it. So we'll let it open back up again. There we go. There we go. Back to where we were. You can save your button. You can read from the radio here. You can write to the radio. Clone is if you have two radios that are identical, that you just want to, you've got one, you don't have to program each one individually. You can program them just one time and just clone it to another, one radio to another. Clone Express is just a quicker way of cloning them. Update your radio. You can register a device and activate license if you need to, or in this case, I should say, entitlements. On the feature set on the first one, configuration, this just gives you all the stuff you get with the free software. Free and used, available on purchase. This one is available. It's a purchase entitlement. All these are free. If you're actually using it, like IP Site Connect, it's free, and I'm using it. Digital Phone Patch, free. Capacity Plus, free. However, I don't need all those features right now. I don't need to use them. Down here for general, you've got all this different trees right here, all your different options you can go into. Job tickets, which not sure what that's for. I've never really delved into that, so I'm not really sure. You've got your man down, which is an emergency feature, which I'm not using. Your systems, all your system information's here, your phone systems. That's if you've got your phone, or if you've got the radio in radio management, which you can actually go and you can make phone calls with it. It's sort of like a phone patch. Phone patch, basically what it is. You've got your contacts list, which is similar to DMR. I've got just call one, local, and cell phone. I've just been playing around with the cell phone feature. I haven't got it to work quite right. Whether it'll work on this radio or not. So that's basically your contact list. It's like your DMR list. You can create different lists and put your contacts in there. Receive groups. Now, right here is your zone and channel assignment. It's where you can put different zones in. Like I showed you earlier, I had different zones, and all your channels go into those zones. We do have a channel pool here, which will show all these different channels right here that I've got it listed right in this pool itself. But, okay, let's go down to emergency ops here. Emergency ops, I've got different EOCs that I need to contact, or ARES, and certs, and those channels. Fire rescue, I've got fire rescue in here, which I've been testing this, and it's not working quite the way I wanted to, because their UHF is on P25, and this is not a P25 radio, but that's not the reason I purchased this radio, so it's not like I bought the radio for that. That was an afterthought that I was playing around with. I'm going to remove those channels anyway. And then down here you got your scan list. If you have channels you need to scan, you put your scan list down here. You can put all your frequencies down here. Give you an idea. There's list one. I'm not sure. I think I got something in here. To edit it, you just highlight it and hit your little pen right here, and that'll edit it. Oh yeah, okay. I've got these. You've probably seen these if you have an Anytone radio or some other radios like that. You'll probably see basically the same procedure. You got what's available, and you put it into a member in a particular zone. Like Anytone does have different zones, and you can do that. It's the same basic principle. Roam and roam list, which I have not used yet, so I really don't want to get into that. But this is basically, like I said, the CPS for this particular radio. It's 2.0, free to download. And what you do need to do, though, with Motorola is you do need to create an account with them. It doesn't cost you anything. Once that account's created, there are several of the entitlements which are available at no charge that you just have to download. Now, the whole process of starting the Motorola account may take a few days. You do it online. Send them some information. Once it's been established, you'll get notified. You can create your own account. In fact, I'm going to take you one other spot before I leave here. Let's go down to, we're going to go to what is known as My View. So 1 second here, let me get to it. Okay, we're on My View screen. It's more or less a management screen for you. Once you get your account created, you get this screen. You can go to it, and If you have any technical issues that need to be resolved, you got priority tickets here, RMAs, bounce rate, anything that you could possibly use for your radio or radio management. Orders here, I've got orders, a list of orders, what I've had here, and they've been closed already since I've already done them. You can go to service coverage to see what your service coverage is, a whole slew of information, repairs, reports. I've not really delved into this particular website itself, but you have all this stuff you can explore. Again, this is at no charge once you create your Motorola account. Well, I hope I've given you some useful information if you've ever considered getting into the world of Motorola radios. Again, once the software is no longer being charged for individual users, it makes it a little bit more feasible for the average radio user to go ahead and delve into this product. Well, thanks again for watching. If you haven't, consider subscribing to my channel and click that like button and ring that bell to be notified of upcoming videos. Until next time, this is Steve, Kilo 4 Sierra Romeo Foxtrot. I'm out.